Hey everyone, welcome back to Mr. Holland's Classroom, where today we're going to be doing lesson 1 in chapter 11 of my math for kindergarten. We're talking about two-dimensional shapes, and first we need to start off with this video so that we can check it all out, see what they're going to talk about. Let's go ahead and get started.
Squares and rectangles. Matthew Cantu has his hands full. He has a stack of rectangles and squares, and 2 new words.
The 2 new words are corner and side. The side of a figure is one of the straight lines that make up the figure. The corner of a figure is where 2 sides come together. You can use these 2 words to describe a rectangle and a square.
This is a rectangle. A rectangle has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. This is a square. A square has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. So, a rectangle has 4 sides and 4 corners, and a square has 4 sides and 4 corners. I wonder, what is the difference between a rectangle and a square?
Look closely at the sides of a rectangle. These 2 sides are longer than these 2 sides. Now, look closely at the sides of a square. A square is a special kind of rectangle. All 4 sides of a square are the same length. That's what makes a square a square. 4 equal sides.
Cool. So let's get into this. Okay, so chapter 11, lesson 1, like I said, squares and rectangles. Let's get a little bit into what we're going to do here. Okay, so how can I compare shapes? We know how to do that a little bit. We did that in chapter 9. So we're classifying objects. This is kind of leading into that. So let's see what we got. Okay, so we can do this. Sort the dogs. Easy, done. Okay, so right off the bat, I see a couple of dogs that are brown. So I'm going to get my pencil out. I'm going to circle the ones that are brown. Now, you could have done the ones that were gray. I noticed that. But what were some other ways? Oh, this one's brown too, brown spots. So there's that, and then I can like cross these off. Or you could have looked at their collars, although they all look like they were different color collars. So probably couldn't have done it that way. But like I said, you could have sort of circled the gray dogs and then crossed off the brown dogs. So either way, I mean, you could have done it one or the other. Okay, so what are some characteristics of squares and rectangles? Well, they talked about sides and corners. Now, there's a fancy word for a corner, which is called a vertex, which sounds super radical. But a vertex is when, boink, you got 2 lines that they meet in a corner like that. That's why they say corner. So check that out. Let's take a look. So it says, name the shape below. Square. How many sides does the shape have? We know that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, across, and cut in half. I am number 4. How many vertices does it have? Now, vertices is the plural of vertex. So vertex is 1 corner. Vertices is multiple corners. So let's see how many corners they have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, across, and cut in half. I am number 4. 4. Choose an object that has the same shape. Now, you might have something like this shape, and if you don't, you could always draw it on a piece of paper and cut it out. But like this block is this kind of shape. The face of a piece, die, like, dice, the die, that's a square. You might have square plates. A lot of plates are round, but you might have square plates, who knows? But you might see a face of a box or something like that. Square, boom. Find that object. Okay, name the shape below. Well, this is not a square because we just did a square. This is a rectangle. How many sides? We know it has 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the thing that I like to do is to say like, well, these aren't all the same length, so you could put like 2 lines to show this one is twice as long, well, or longer, you know what I mean? So it might help you keep track and help you realize, no, it's not a square because these 2 sides are the same, but like these 2 are shorter. So you can do that. But there's 4 sides, and then the corners again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 sides and 4 vertices. Good. We're on a roll here. All right, so it says draw a shape that shows a real world example for each word below. Okay, so square. When I think of a square, you guys are going to laugh at me, but you know what I think of? Cheez-It. You guys ever had Cheez-Its? Cheez-Its are little square, little cheese bites. I love them. Rectangle, though. Here, let me put a little circle in here to show my little Cheez-It. But rectangle, who's had a Pop-Tart? Raise your hand. Yeah, Pop-Tarts looking so good. I like the cinnamon ones the best. But those are just some examples. I'm hungry. I was thinking of food, but maybe you know something else that's like a square or a rectangle. So let's maybe see. Stop. Well, this sign right here, even though it's tilted, it still has 4 sides and 4 vertices, and the sides are all the same length. That's important. Okay. And the angles are important too, but you'll learn that later. A rectangle door. Didn't even think about it because I was thinking about food. I was hungry. Sorry. Jeez. Okay. So on this page, what we're doing, drawing squares and rectangles here. So the thing about this is that they want you to actually draw them. It'd be nice if you had like something to trace around, but just try your best. Square, square. Ugh, that looks more like a rectangle. Square. And I'll do another rectangle over here. And they want you to color the squares blue and the rectangles orange. So if I had to pull my blue out, let's just do blue. Let me get this. Blue squares. And then orange rectangle. I might not have an orange, but you guys do. Oh, I do have an orange. Okay. So that's kind of your way of identifying them, but maybe you could try to draw them and then trick either your siblings or maybe you could trick your parents, see if you can get them off kilter. But we need to know the difference between squares and rectangles because sometimes you might get fooled because a rectangle might look a little bit like a square. So this is the important part to know. Yes, they both have 4 sides and they both have 4 angles. So on this page, you're going to trace the number 4s on there. But remember, what's different? On the square, the sides are all the same, okay? On the rectangle, it's like a square got stretched out. So 2 of the sides are now longer, but the other sides are still the same. So you got to think about it like that. The rectangle is like the longer version of the square's relative, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're related. They are. They have the same amount of sides and they have the same amount of vertices. And that actually is called a quadrilateral. Quad meaning 4 and lateral meaning side. So 4 sides. There's a lot of quadrilaterals, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about squares and rectangles. You know the difference? Let's see if you do. Number 3. What shape is this over here? Yes, it's a square, but be careful. They're trying to trick you guys. You have to look very closely because they knocked over the shapes over here. So like they're trying to throw you off and make you confused. Don't be confused. Take a deep breath, relax, and just focus. Look at this. That looks too long to be a square. So that's a rectangle. This, if I tilt my head, it looks just like a square. Boom, found our first square. Is there any more? Well, this is too long to be a square. And even though this is small, it still has the same size on each side. So, good. There's our 2 squares. Let's check the next one. Oh, see, they're trying to trick you. They're putting real objects on here now that have similar shapes. So let's take a look. What shape is this over here? Is this a square or a rectangle? Good, rectangle. Okay, but be careful. Which of these is rectangle? Well, let's take a look. Okay, so square has all the same sides. Rectangle is longer. So is this welcome mat longer on the sides? Yes, good. What about this computer screen or TV screen? Yes, it's got two long sides. How about this waffle? No, it's the same on each side, so no. How about this microwave? Yeah, I would say these two sides are really long, so I'm going to circle that one. Let's check to see if we're right. Booyah! Man, we're getting good at this already, okay? They're trying to trick you. They will continue to try to trick you, especially on the homework pages and stuff like that. But be careful. What is a square? What is a rectangle? Now, they're very closely related, but squares, same on all sides. Rectangles, they're same on two pairs of sides, but two sides are longer. So the rectangle is longer than the square. Hey, we're using comparison language. Love that. Okay, make sure you get through your homework, and I will see you at lesson 2, okay? See you, everybody. Bye.